We are here to book talk with award-winning author Justin Davis, who is based in Northampton, UK. Welcome to the Author's Voice, Justin. Again, this isn't the first time you've been with us on an interview, and I am super excited to have you back because this is, for me, a joyous occasion. So welcome.
Well, thank you very much. Yes, and a joyous occasion for me too, and lovely to be back. Thank you.
For those of you who have been following the Author's Voice, and Justin introduced to UK teachers on this platform his book, his picture book, The Snark. And I fell in love with the book and have had the pleasure of reading it. And it is such a fantastic tale. So when I got this news, we kind of celebrated online, didn't we, Justin? Because well, first we were like, oh, okay, it's in the running, and now we know. So it is such a phenomenal big deal for me to have you back to celebrate the fact that The Snark has won a book award. So well done for that. And so please, without further ado, tell us more about the award that The Snark has won.
Okay, so the Snark has won the Gold Award, which is wonderful. There was a bit of a build-up, and I was a finalist for a couple of months, so it was a bit of a tense time. But nevertheless, it came out and it won the first prize, which is wonderful. And that's run by the Wishing Shelf Awards. So that's by a fellow author called Edward Treyer. He goes by the pen name of Billy Bob Buttons. He runs an award for all categories, not just children's books, but nevertheless, he has a couple of children's books categories. So my book was entered into category 1, which was for picture books. The award runs for a whole calendar year, so from January to December. And then the following year up until April, they do all the scoring and they work out who's a finalist and then who gets through from the finalists then to the award winners, the gold, silver and bronze awards. So yes, I was submitted my book. My book was published in November last year. So it was probably a late entrance in terms of the calendar year, but nevertheless, it still gets reviewed. And the picture books gets reviewed by 26 people, predominantly children. And the whole premise of the Wishing Shelf Awards is that it's readers. So all the categories have readers reviewing the books. So it's not just a panel of people deciding based on what's current or topic or work or anything like that. It's readers saying what did they like. And of course with the picture books, it's young children. So the majority is young children. Then there are a couple of teachers there as well that put a review in, and equally they do ask an editor or somebody like that, because they score the books on editing, writing style, content and the cover. And I've had the feedback from the Snark now, and it's actually posted on Amazon as well. So if anyone went to Amazon and looked in the book review section, you would find the Wishing Shelf Award and you get all the comments from all the children. But Snark was fortunate to get 10 out of 10 in each of those categories. So it comes out first in February time, where they announce the finalists. I have had a book that's previously been a finalist, and when it's a finalist, you get a little finalist badge. So I have had one before as a finalist, but I've never got past that stage. So of course, I was absolutely delighted with the Snark to get to the finalist point, then wait nervously for another couple of months to find out I was actually a winner.
Amazing, and congratulations and well done. This doesn't surprise me. I'm sure Justin, you've heard me rave on about the Snark. It's so good, it's so good. And I have said it to teachers, not just in the Author's Voice Facebook group, which is ReadMaster for UK Teachers, but also in the Book Talk for UK Teachers group on Facebook, where we have over 1,700 teachers who are in that group. And I said to them that this book is a must-have, particularly for Key Stage 1. And it's not just about the fact that it's a great storyline. It's everything about the book. The pictures in the book are phenomenal. They're well done, and the rhyme scheme as well. Such a catchy story that younger children will absolutely enjoy. And in terms of reading for pleasure, the Snark hits it on the money. And when I took it into school here in Coventry, and handed it across to a Key Stage 1 teacher, and said, you know, I'd like you to just read this to the children, and let me know what they think. And Justin, they fell in love with it instantly. They wanted to do work on it. They wanted to design their own Snark. They were playing Snark games on the playground during their breaks. And this without any teacher's involvement at all. They'd come back and tell us stories about the Snark. And this is just how effective this picture book actually is. When children can connect to a book on such a level that it becomes something that they can manipulate into their own everyday life, they can retell it to their friends, they can create from it. That's when you know you have definitely written a phenomenal piece. So I can't go on about the Snark enough. I think every single school should have this on their shelf in their classroom, be it for story time, or even for reading comprehension, purely because the language is also quite lovely for the children to explore. And I do like the kind of hidden storyline behind it. There's a storyline of the Snark, and then there's another story at play behind that, which I found quite good in terms of developing inference of young readers. So tell us a little bit more about the inspiration of the Snark, and how you came up with the concept from the get-go.
Right, okay, yes. So the inspiration, and that's probably not a happy side of it, my son's afraid of the dark. So the inspiration is there in my house, in my family, and he was getting to a point where he would wake up late at night, you know, between 1 and 2, and come through because he's frightened, etc. So and it's the usual things. It can hear noises and things like that. So that was the real inspiration behind it. Of yes, we all hear things that we can't explain, or there are strange sounds out there, but often it's something very simple. You know, it might be a door creak because somebody's got up in the house and moved the door. It could be floorboards creaking because it's had the weight lifted off them. Simple things like that. So the inspiration was actually, let's make it fun. Let's understand that yes, a lot of people out there do have a fear of the dark, and it causes a lot of people anxiety, whatever age. But let's make it fun. Let's bring some fun into it, and try and understand those fears a little bit more. And understand what could be behind them. And again, there's a bit of a twist at the end with the story, and there's humour built into it, so it's not scary for anybody. And at the end as well, there's the opportunity to work through your fears, which is quite a powerful thing to do. And that is the of how to draw monsters. And there's a few different ideas of how you can draw the monsters, and again, that's quite good for children to engage with. And once they draw things, they overcome their fears. So that's where it came from.
Absolutely. Fantastic. And I was doing a little bit of research about the Snark, and came across another book, which was written by Lewis Carroll, also about the Snark, and that's fascinating for me, and for other teachers and readers out there, for the simple reason that we love intertextual connections, where we can actually look at common themes, common ideas, and also compare, you know, the different characteristics of the main characters in the text. Was Lewis Carroll's Snark any inspiration for this one?
I didn't actually know it existed. It's funny because once I do a book and set the title, and this book had got quite far, we got to the point where it was all typeset, so the illustrations were done, and the words and the illustrations were brought together in the digital files. And it was only at that point I thought, I wonder if the Snark's used as a title or trademarked. Now, luckily, it's not trademarked, so it's fine to use. But it was only in that internet search then that it came up that, yeah, Lewis Carroll, The Hunting of the Snark, exists. I haven't read a copy yet, but it's certainly on my list of things to do. So it was quite nice that there was something there already, but equally nice that there was no copyright issues and I could carry on and use it.
Absolutely. It was fascinating to see, because I was like, oh my gosh, there's another Snark here, and this particular book would be better for Key Stage 2, that Lewis Carroll version of the Snark. So straight away my teacher head went off, and I was like, oh, I can see you know, children doing comparisons with the different Snarks, looking at the characters together in terms of what's similar and what's different. The Snark in Lewis Carroll's book is also inspirational. You see, you may be getting some kind of inspiration coming subliminally from somewhere. You'd be surprised. Maybe as a child, you may have read that book.
Yeah, as a child, yeah.
So do tell us, are there any other plans? Is there a Snark Part 2 or any other books in the pipeline for you, Justin?
So currently there isn't a Snark Part 2, and you're the first person that's mentioned that. And I do think that's a good idea because it's been such a hit. It really has. So that might come on my list. And a few people have said, is there a plush toy as well? Because they can imagine a plush toy of the Snark that they thought would be quite nice. So again, I'll have to look into that. But book-wise, yeah, I've got 4 on the go at the moment. So one of them is a new series for early readers, which is one of my others. I've written books for my children, and this one was one my middle son came up with, but I haven't written the book yet. And it's about, he named the characters, by the way, Piggy McTavish and Smiggle McBiggle, which are 2 pigs that go on magical adventures. So I'm part way through that. I'm also working on book 3, because I've got a series which I think I touched on before, the Fearless 4 series, Escape from Nettle Farm book 1, Spy Danger book 2. That won a Red Ribbon Award as well. And I'm working on book 3 to that, which is good because as the books mature and you've got the characters are quite well defined, it's nicer to explore more the adventure and the surroundings as opposed to the character development. So that's quite nice. I've also written another rhyming picture book. Its working title is Sausage Dog Dragon. It's literally about a sausage dog that likes to dress up as a dragon to go to a fancy dress party. And the last book that I've nearly finished is a book on coaching rugby, because I'm also a rugby coach in rugby union, and me and a couple of other coaches have got together and we've nearly finished a book on how to coach rugby. So that's going to be aimed more at rugby coaches, but equally there's a lot of information in there for parents and for children who are learning rugby and developing.
You mentioned that the Snark is on Amazon, so we're aware that the book can be purchased there if teachers want to go out and grab that. Are there any other outlets where the Snark can be purchased?
So all online retailers. So Foyles, Waterstones, it's available Barnes and Noble if you're in America. So yeah, a lot of online retailers. I would love it to be in stores. I do keep pestering Waterstones, but at the moment it's online with Waterstones, not in their stores. WH Smith's, that's always a tricky one to get into, but the Snark is actually on WH Smith's site as in stock, which is good.
So if teachers wanted to reach out to you, Justin, to arrange a virtual visit, how would they be able to do that? What do they need to do to contact you?
So I have got my own website, justindavis.co.uk, although that's been upgraded at the moment. So if people go on it, it'll be part me, part theme that I'm changing over. But my email address is info@justindavis.co.uk. Or equally, they can go on to Blue Falcon Publishing's website, which is bluefalconpublishing.co.uk, which is the publishing company, and all my books are listed on there as a lot of other books by other authors as well.
Excellent. Now we have had the privilege of having you read aloud a section of the Snark before, and we will be certain to place links to that read aloud with this video as well, so that teachers can go between this interview and the previous read aloud. But it'd be great if you could give us a little snippet of the favorite bits that readers may love from the Snark, please.
Right, fine. So there's 2 little bits then that I'll read out. And this is what the children have picked up. So they're not necessarily my favourite bits of the book, but by all the feedback that came back, these are the 2 elements that the readers thought were the best. So the first one was, what's that smell? It's really grotty. It must be coming from Snark's botty, was the first bit. And the second bit, and I'll show you the second bit if you can see that. It says, now I'm shaking just like jelly. That Snark wants me in his belly. So there were the two bits that the children picked out. One of my favourite bits in it, despite the rhyme is my favourite, because it does, the rhyme builds up. It's an additive rhyme. So it starts off, it describes the monster, and every time we get to another scene with the monster, we add a couple of extra lines on to give a little bit more description. So my favourite bit is that build up of the rhyme. But what's proved to be very, very popular is the bit at the end, which is the how to draw a monster. So not part of the rhyme, but it just takes you through very basic steps of how to draw things. So people who can't draw, it shows them nicely whatever shape they want to start with, but you can work your way down. Again, just adding little bits, and that helps people work through their fears.
A fantastic activity for young readers, you know, just bringing that whole cohesiveness to the story, to the book itself. So thank you very much for sharing that, Justin. It is always a pleasure to hear the author's voice behind the children's books. Thank you so much for joining us once again on ReadMaster for UK Teachers platform, home of the author's voice. Thank you, Justin, and congratulations again.
Lovely. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Indeed. I'm going to pause right there because for some reason I'm looking like a cyborg and I don't know why. Hold on.
I noticed that.
Of my face.
I thought it was metal implant.
What is happening? Because I've got my green screen up. Now it's okay. How odd. So what is happening? And then I'm doing all sorts of things. I don't know if you noticed my chair kept
I see you moving.
Trying to figure out what is happening with my lighting. All right, let's
it looked good in the outtakes.
table.